Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Shiba Inu, seeing what's going on. We're going to redraw out some new Fibonacci retracement levels and just talk about this current uptrend and see how much higher it could go. Because it does look like we are consolidating above that key level resistance here today. We broke through that pretty soundly, and we want to kind of acknowledge the big picture and what's going to happen next. So again, if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today, and obviously you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a website linked down below where you can effectively follow my trade signals. I have day trades and swing trades. We took a nice little 10x leverage long from 25.6 from Bitcoin, hit roughly, 3 profit targets for a good 17% in 2 hours. So those little things are all just kind of automated fully throughout my Telegram, of course, where you can just link through Cornix and kind of go on autopilot there. So awesome stuff. Be sure to check that out. We also have partnerships with BINGX here as well. This was essentially an important thing to note based on the overall sense of the where we're at with the big picture. In other words, with Bybit taking away or giving KYC a full requirement, we have opportunities to be able to pivot to other exchanges. That's kind of how you do it in restricted countries. Unfortunately, you kind of got to stay ahead of the curve. Anyways, conversation for another day. All the information is down below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me direct. With Shiba Inu, though, what we want to talk about here is a few things. First of all, we got an awesome MACD convergence here on the daily, which is occurring right now. Now, keep this in mind. Just because we're converging doesn't mean it's just going to take off and go to the moon. But what it does tell us here is that we're on the horizon, right there, right at the precipice of a strong convergence. So as soon as that line crosses over, that we should be able to see that continue further. Keep in mind, we could also get rejected too, and the price could turn around. We call that an MACDFU. At least that's what I call it. And it's kind of a funny thing, but it sucks when it happens. But generally speaking, we're going to look today and see if this has potential for continuation or if we're going to see that turn ourselves around. When we take a look at the RSI, though, we can see that we hit a really low level here. We haven't seen this in a long time from Shiba Inu. Look at that. I mean, if you look at its history, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. It's very rare for this level, roughly about 20 on the RSI, to be tested. We saw it one time when it dropped like a rock from its very first ICO day. So at this point, we can expect the price to continue based on that strong capitulation at that lowest level. Speaking of capitulation as well, I drew a support level here from the previous point. I think it's right around 560, 570. We can see that's holding strong here as a lowest point. In other words, the price wicked down just below it, yes, but it held above, and that is effectively the lowest point. So we shouldn't see anything lower than the 560, 570 range. But once again, strange things can happen. Just keep in mind, we did retest that 546 level. That's pretty much the lowest point at which the price has ever gone. Okay, so good chance we're at the bottom here for Shiba Inu. That being said, how much potential do we have for further upside? Well, let's take a quick look at the moving averages and kind of see we're down below all three, of course. We can also acknowledge that we are in a descending trend here too, right? So you can kind of see the price action is effectively having trouble making higher highs. Okay, we want to start this trend with a higher low first, though. So that's the key takeaway, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on. But the way to reverse the trend is to essentially continue to make higher lows first. We don't see those just yet. We're just kind of pretty much established a very strong high here when we broke through this key level resistance. So that's a good sign. But we want to know if that's going to maintain itself. Well, we're getting closer to 70 on the RSI. That tells us that we're overextended and that we should see a pullback. We do see a pullback. Keep in mind, most pullbacks occur to the most recent Fibonacci retracement level, which is right here at about 700 even. So I would expect the price pullback to 700 and continue upwards at that level. Okay, that's a very strong, normal thing that you can see in trading. You can also see that kind of reflected here as well for our Elliott wave, where the price is hitting a 1, 2, 3 pattern. We should see the 4 come down and then establish a higher high from there as a 5. So I would expect the price to pull back to that 700 range as a strong potential. Is it a guarantee? No, but we are overextended in a couple of different ways in the 4 hour. It would make more sense for the price action to pull back. Taking a look at TD sequential, we can see we hit that 9, and then we hit this strong, basically a strong short squeeze is what I like to refer to that as. It's not a guarantee that it was a short squeeze, but it's a strong consideration because most shorts will leverage right above that key level resistance. And of course, once those get closed out, shorts turn into long and it goes up. Right, so it's probably a strong likelihood we saw that, which does imply that we may not see a strong pullback. But if we do, I think 700 would be a decent bouncing point. So taking a look here at the hourly, we can kind of see that TD sequential is pushing up really high to a 9. And of course, we got that pullback here moving forward. So at this point, it's definitely one of those considerations where we can kind of see the price action pulling back, if you will, and I would expect the price to pull back a little bit further here, just based on that overextension. Taking a look at Ichimoku Cloud, though, this is where things get kind of interesting here. In other words, we have a strong consideration here for a support at the 730 mark. In other words, price pulls back, just say goes sideways here. We could see it hold above the cloud right there at that level and bounce. It's a common characteristic. Basically, the most recent high turned into a low. All right. And you can see that if you zoom in here where the price action had some difficulty crossing that level, now it's retesting that as a support. Okay, so there's a decent chance that 700 may not be retested. Now I'm going to go ahead and set an alert right about like 705 roughly, just to kind of get that heads up that, hey, if this crosses this level, we're going to go ahead and consider that as a potential entry target. Again, you want to reevaluate if you hit those targets. If just because you set an alert today and you get an alert in a week, it's like, okay, do I just jump right in? No, you reevaluate. Okay, so just kind of giving you a little heads up here that it's important to make sure you reevaluate when you do set alerts. So I'm hoping we'll see 700 so we can get that bounce, but that's based on the preface that Bitcoin will pull back a little bit too. I think Bitcoin could fill that CME gap at 26.4, and we're going to see that here in a little while when the Asian markets open. Again, conversation for another day. I review Bitcoin daily as well. Be sure to check that out. But generally speaking here, Ichimoku Cloud is telling us we're above support, but we are running closer here. So in other words, if the price just goes sideways from here, you may want to consider taking some profits on your long position, because that will effectively tell us that momentous trend is finished. So unless we can leg up again in the next 9 to 10 hours, I would expect the price to pull back likely to this level. And once again, we reevaluate at that time. So what is the overall sense of things here? Well, we can kind of see that we've got a resistance here at about, just say round number 800 to 790 range. If the price were to come up to that level, we can expect some kind of pullback. The key takeaway here, though, is we need to understand that the price hasn't broken through this descending trend yet, right? So there's a decent chance that the price could essentially continue lower and go down to this lower Fibonacci retracement level again. Okay, so by no means am I saying that we're in the clear and it's just good to go, green light, take a long position. There is momentum, there is some positivity. We're hitting that overextended state on the 4-hour, and I think it's important to recognize that until we break through this descending trend, we got to expect the price to continue to go lower. Okay, that's just kind of what you have to do as a trader, right? You can be cautiously optimistic all day long, but never be overzealous and effectively go on a hope and a prayer that, oh, I feel good about this. I feel good about it, don't get me wrong, but we don't have all the factors here to take a position yet. Pullback and consolidation at that level, roughly about 700, that would make sense, right? That's, again, just me personally. I wait for pullbacks. Yes, I miss opportunities, but I get a lot better ones too, and they're a little more significant, and they typically hit their targets. Again, I'd much rather be a high percentage trader than a low percentage trader that has a lot of risk. And again, different strokes for different folks, right? Do what you will. I hope this makes sense for you. This is basically what my thoughts are here. We'll go ahead and reevaluate again soon, but I would like to see a pullback to 700 and to kind of jump in there at that most recent low to effectively break through this descending trend. I hope that makes sense for you. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure, again, you jump on over to our trading community here. Awesome stuff there. Really cool. And again, congrats to all our community members who took some healthy profits on Friday. We look forward to some more this week. Have a good one. Take care. Oh, happy Father's Day to you as well. Thanks again so much for all that you do. We'll see you.